Hi there Virgo, thank you for joining me for your monthly forecast for April. This month begins with the sun in the part of your horoscope that's to do with your passions. Mercury's there too, your ruling planet. That side of you that likes to delve beneath the surface is going to be very much to the fore, at least in the first week of this month. This could see you grappling with metaphysical issues, with more spiritual ones, or practical in terms of the material possessions. Even property may be something that you're considering as this month begins. And part of this comes from the role of Saturn. Saturn is the planet of structure, but at the end of last month, he slammed on the brakes and is going to be in reverse for the next 5.5 months. But Saturn forges a really fine link as this month begins with the Sun. So if you are thinking about moving into a new place, renting out a spare room, using your home as a business base, or perhaps just having a complete change of scene in terms of where you actually are located, it wouldn't be an entire surprise. It's also possible, because of Saturn's retrograde, that you're having to think more about your emotional considerations, and that may see you in a thoughtful mood as this month begins, particularly as ironically Pluto is clashing with the Sun in the first week of this month. Now Pluto's in a part of your horoscope which has been pushing you to be more creative, daring and enterprising for about 7 years. It hasn't necessarily been an easy journey because you've had to take risks or challenge yourself or come into some situations where there's been conflicts or power battles in order for you to demonstrate who you authentically are. And there could be another one of these as this month begins, especially around a group situation or a romance. If there is politics, especially around control or jealousy, manipulation, whether it's coming towards you or you need to be more conscious of your own behaviourisms, there could be a bit of that as this month begins. However, there's a fine moment on the 6th, because your ruling planet Mercury relocates into a much more liberating part of your horoscope. I think this is going to help to lighten things up a little bit, but he is replaced by Venus, which moves out of your sector of relating and into your one of the deepest passions. Don't be surprised if you find yourself attracted to someone this month, but just who could be an enormous surprise. It could be a bit of a fling, it could be you're going to meet a life partner. It just depends on your unique situation. Certainly, there is a connection between the 12th and the 14th, between Venus and Mars, which is particularly significant. Because if you meet somebody who really understands you at a heart level, understands what makes you tick more emotionally, that's going to be very attractive for you. It's not just a case of being pulled towards them in a kind of mesmeric way, which is possible. You're going to be much more attuned to what works for you in terms of your emotional well-being, and that's a fine thing. But Mercury moving into your sector of liberty can also see you wanting to break away from something which is no longer working. And the Sun does continue in your sector of dependencies and also shared assets, resources and emotions. And on the 7th there's a new moon in this area. Now it's an opportunity to give this part of your situation some kind of reboot, especially as the new moon combines with the unpredictable energies of Uranus. But it can also see you having a fantastic idea to earn a new living, or perhaps it can see you rebel against the clinginess of a situation which is no longer working for you. There isn't one way this will work, because we're all different, and obviously every Virgo is very individualistic as well. You may share some common traits, but you are still a person in your own right. So how the Sun's combination with the Moon and Uranus plays out is very much down to your situation. But something dramatic can happen, and it could be very, very exciting. There's also going to be a great link between Jupiter in your sign, which is continuing to track backwards, and Mercury. Now this is going to go from the 12th to the 17th. Have confidence in your individual ideas. This is an opportunity to be really bold, and one plan may just come off spectacularly well if you really walk with your chin up, your chest out and tell it how it is. Someone's going to be mightily impressed by what you are trying to impart. But also Venus is getting deeper and deeper into this very, very sensual part of your horoscope. And then from the 19th through to the 24th combines itself with Uranus. And this is what I mean. This could lead to a sudden attraction to someone, which is incredibly powerful. It could be very, very sensual. It's also possible that you could come into some financial fortune through someone else's good luck. On the other hand, if you have got that entrepreneurial spirit, it can really prosper if you're prepared to go outside the well-trodden path and do something unique and different. With the sun moving on the 20th into your sister earth sign of Taurus, this too gives you encouragement to be more daring, to be the independent person you want to be. It doesn't mean to say you can't still be committed. This is independent about your hobbies and about your creative talents. And then there is a full moon. And this full moon occurs in your opposite sign of Scorpio. And it just suggests you can't get so consumed with your own situation that you take your eye off how you're going to be communicating any changes you want to make. Because someone close to you may be more than happy with the status quo, or may feel that all this electrifying energy that's around you is seeing you making sudden, dramatic moves, which they're finding quite challenging to deal with. So it's important that you're inclusive, keep people in the loop, communicate any changes you're trying to make well, and then people will be much more supportive towards you. Venus is also going to be moving as this month draws to a close, but it moves into an area which can create even more excitement, and it could see you at some point in the last 10 days of this month, but certainly with the help of Venus, decide to go off on some kind of break, vacation, travel, take a job which sees you on the move, or be more flexible in your approach, which really will be something to stimulate your senses and give you an incredible sense of excitement as April comes to a close. The one thing this month will not be is dull. But I just need to tell you about one aspect which is potentially quite challenging. And that's between Mars and Neptune. Now, Mars is the planet of drive and of ego, and it is in a tender part of your horoscope, but it clashes with Neptune in your sector of relating all month. If it comes to communicating very sensitive messages, you must take your time. However much you're feeling a sense of turbulence or buzzing on the fact of any changes, other people may see it very differently, and being well judged in your communication is going to be important. But also be aware that you may encounter someone this month who's not as straightforward and as honest as you might hope. So just keep that thought in mind as you enter what can be a really dramatic month. Thank you for joining me. Good luck and goodbye for now.